Mike Wood.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and a very happy Black Country Day to you today. As a proud Black countryman, it's been an honour to represent communities in Dudley South for the past 5 years. I hope to have the opportunity to do so for a number of years to come. But like many other constituencies in this country, the boundaries on which I was elected were last fundamentally altered ahead of the 1997 general election. Based on electorates from the early 1990s, we are literally a generation out of date on the boundaries on which many of the constituencies in the West Midlands were drawn up. Like members from all parts of this House, I'm enormously fond of all parts of my constituency. I love every last ward and polling district of it. It would be a real wrench to if any of it was to be taken out of Dudley South. But we also have to recognise that, like many of the Black Country constituencies, the current size of the constituency is under the quota, whether it's based on 600 or 650. It will need, many constituencies in Black Country will need to either take in additional areas, or of course some will be divided between constituencies, and I'm as likely to be to find myself without a constituency to represent as any other Member of Parliament. But when we're considering fundamental constitutional reforms such as this one, it isn't about whether I've got a constituency to represent. This isn't about me. This is about the wider electoral system. And it must be a fundamental premise of our electoral system that the constituencies have to be as close to the same size as is possible. One of the very few upsides of this horrific outbreak and lockdown has been the opportunity to spend a little more time helping my children with their schoolwork at home. And my daughter, in Year 7, she's studying the People's Charter of 1838, referred to by my honourable friend for Haywood and Middleton. And there, as has been said, is the clear commitment in 1838 for constituencies, the campaign for constituencies based on equal number of electorates. Madam Deputy Speaker, there are many on the opposite side of the House, and perhaps even some on this side, who consider themselves the natural heirs of 19th century radicals. But instead of picking up that torch of William Lovett and Fergus O'Connor, it seems that they're choosing to put themselves on the side of those who are arguing for somehow representation for acres of land, that the geographic extent of a constituency should somehow override the priority of equalising the number of electors representing within. That cannot be the right way. It wasn't the right way in the 19th century. It certainly isn't the right way in a 21st century democracy. There is a better way, and it's one that's been referred to by my honourable friend, Member for Romford. We can make sure that equal-sized constituencies can be drawn up that properly represent local constituencies if the boundary commissions are encouraged to look more favourably at dividing wards across constituencies where the alternative would be unnatural constituencies or dividing communities. This was done in the West Midlands during the last review. It's one of the reasons why, in the final recommendations, the proposals that the Right Honourable Member for Worley, who's not currently in his seat, for Halesowen and Selly Oak constituency, for Sutton Coldfield to be divided, and various other very strange proposals in the initial recommendations. Why those were not in the final recommendations is precisely because in only 3 wards across the whole West Midlands, they were able to divide those across natural boundaries within those wards, which are amalgamations of wards, and therefore have more natural boundaries across the constituency. If I may just briefly touch on the question of automatic implementation. The Right Honourable Member for Worley said that, as Parliament, we instruct these independent bodies to go out to draw up rules, and therefore we should be able to decide whether to implement them, whether they're the right decisions. Well, we also instructed IPSA to draw up parliamentary pay and conditions, salaries. I think in not too distant future it will look as strange to people that we think we should draw the constituency boundaries on which we're elected